For all of recorded time, we have been able to look back and see the natural disasters that have occurred consistently decade after decade. In the last 50 years, we have seen terrorist attacks, mass shootings, and plane crashes that have claimed the lives of thousands of people. Imagine we could look forward at the tragedies of the future with the dates, death tolls, and geographical coordinates giving us a chance to prevent them. In the 2009 film Knowing, a widowed MIT astrophysicist, John Kostler, played by Nicolas Cage, discovers a piece of paper with numbers on it. He slowly starts to realise what these numbers mean. Knowing is set in Boston, USA, but was filmed in Melbourne.
Kaboom!
Nicolas Cage is one of the most prolific actors of his generation, starring in loads of classic movies like Face Off, Con Air, and The Rock. But Nick Cage has never been afraid to venture into strange territory. Whether it be getting attacked by bees, or searching for his kidnapped pig,
I'm looking for a truffle pig.
Cage has never been afraid to take chances few actors of his kind would take. Cage is no stranger to making films in Australia. He did Ghost Rider and Knowing both in Melbourne, and has a pretty good appreciation for the city.
And Cage, you spent a bit of time in Australia shooting Ghost Rider, yeah?
I certainly did, and Melbourne is one of my favorite cities in the world. Very bohemian style in that city, and I enjoyed it, yeah.
Great coffee too.
A great coffee.
He also made The Surfer in Yallingup, south of Perth in 2024. Cage seems like a personable and patient guy, especially when the media bombarded him.
Oh great, thank you for asking.
You excited to make the film?
I am, yeah.
Since he's been in the local news lately, I thought I would take a look at his 2009 film Knowing.
50 years ago, the students of William Dawes Elementary imagined what the future might hold.
We begin with the first scene of the film, which was shot at Camberwell High School, located on Prospect Hill Road in Camberwell. So at the start of the movie, we are in Lexington, Massachusetts. But are we? We're actually in Camberwell, Melbourne, Victoria. And the school is not William Dawes Elementary School, it's Camberwell High School. Right here on Prospect Hill Road, Camberwell. And the whole school was dressed up to look like an American school. And we're gonna go inside and check it out. I can see from here the part that's in the film, and I think there might be a few changes. So let's go in and have a look. Now, word on the street is there's some sort of a secret entrance to this school. With my keen eye, I'm going to find it. I think one might be coming up to it here. Ah, here it is. Most people would just walk past and not notice it. Let's go in.
At what age do we learn to knock?
So, Mrs. Taylor says to her class, there was a competition about the best idea for what to do for the celebration of the opening of the school. So, the little girl at the start,
Lucinda Embry.
her idea was to have a time capsule, put it in the ground, all the kids can draw what they think the future will look like, put it in the time capsule and put it down there for 50 years. So the students 50 years later will open it and have a look at what is inside.
Everyone inside now.
And then we go to the classroom scene. The kids they're only given they're on the spot to draw these pictures. They're not even given the weekend to do it. The class, they're all drawing their pictures for the time capsule, pictures of what they think the future will look like. But Lucinda is just madly writing numbers, just pages of just numbers from one end of the paper to the other. And then we get the scene with the time capsule, and they're bringing the time capsule, and then they put the time capsule in the ground somewhere there. And I would go to the spot where they put the time capsule, but construction site do not enter. And you know me, I always obey signs. Okay, the time capsule was about here. Yeah, as I said, the brick veneer Yeah, they completely dressed all this up and changed it. Of course, that's what they do. Swap the flags. Very exciting. Yeah, I think the time capsule's about here. I'll just refer quickly. Yeah, I think about here. Oh, wait a minute, these stairs aren't here. It's just those stairs. Ah, that's confusing. I have to look at the film again. I've looked at the film again, and the shot of the people putting the time capsule into the ground, the stairs that's behind them are not real. They've created stairs and put them that way. So the stairs are they're further in front of the building. So it's a bit deceiving. In some shots, it looks like it's those stairs when you see the teacher coming out. But then there's the shot of the time capsule getting put into the ground. It's over there. It's further that way. So now we have to talk about this. So when we look this way from the school to see the Lucinda standing, she's facing the oval, which is on the other side of this. So this building wasn't here in 2008. So we can't see the oval, we'll have to go around, but yeah, there was a sand pit and a playground somewhere over here, but progress changes everything. That's okay. This is the other side of the building. You can see a metal railing fence. You can see like a metal fence where Lucinda is standing. So with this not here, this is just speculation. I can't really be sure about this, but I'm just looking at the trees and they look like the same trees. So basically they just put a building between the oval and the school. After they put the time capsule in the ground, Lucinda goes missing and suddenly everybody's looking for her. And we don't get to find out what happened to her at this point.
Certain Lucinda is simply being over-curious. Sure.
Please help find her.
So Miss Taylor is calling out for her, and then there's a scene where they're looking for her, and it's here. You can see these pillars and that door, which is open. It's all right, we'll just keep going. They're having a conversation about where is Lucinda, what happened to her, and then Miss Taylor finds her somewhere in there, inside a little cupboard, and her fingers are bleeding, and she's saying, "Make them stop," or "Stop the voices." What does she say? Yeah, "Make them stop." She's saying, "Make them stop." That would have been in there somewhere, but we can't go in there. I believe that the classroom scenes were filmed inside Camberwell High School. In this scene, you can see through the windows towards the opposite windows on the other side of the area I was just standing in. So the classroom was in one of these windows. Fast forward 50 years and the time capsule is open in an area close to the school that doesn't seem to exist. So Nicolas Cage is walking with the kid playing his son, and you can see that in the background, the school with the oval, which looks like it had grass. Now it's artificial turf. And there's like a forest area where they unlock the time capsule and have a look at what's inside it. But it's actually not a forest, it's a bunch of houses. So I'm thinking that that's a different location and they've done some sort of special effect. That's definitely the same shot of the school without the building in front of it. Interesting.
Do you remember Kim's little sister? PhDs. Remember her?
Is it ethical to say things like that about your sister-in-law?
What? It's factual. It's peer-reviewed.
Okay, this part of the movie we meet Phil, who is John's friend. He's played by Ben Mendelsohn, and they're walking, I believe, along here. I've been all over the University of Melbourne, and this has got to be the spot. You can sort of see the windows on the left-hand side of the screen over there. The trees are much fuller now, there are more leaves. I think Phil really is in the movie just so we know what's going on in John's head. I think that's why characters like him are put there in movies. It's like, so John doesn't have to speak to the screen or talk out loud. We learn what he's thinking through his friend Phil. That's the only reason that character is in the movie. There's no other purpose for him. And he is played by a good actor, Ben Mendelsohn.
Damn it. Damn it.
What?
Caleb's ceremony. I'm sorry, Phil.
Hey, Friday!
I'll think about it.
Later that night, after the opening of the time capsule, John spills his drink while watching David Attenborough. He walks into the kitchen and places his drink on Lucinda's paper. It leaves a ring on it, which John attempts to clean. While doing this, he notices some numbers which stand out for him. He puts them on a whiteboard and quickly works out what caught his attention. 9/11/01, 2996. The date of the World Trade Center attack, which claimed the lives of 2,996 people that day. John would continue to discover more and more disaster dates that seem to be all listed in Lucinda's time capsule entry. John goes to his friend Phil to explain what's happening at the MIT Haystack Observatory in Westford, Massachusetts, which is actually the Australian synchrotron in Clayton.
Phil, hey, can we just start over here? I'm not saying that 81 people are gonna die tomorrow, okay? I'm just trying to understand why this is saying they will.
You have all these uncircled numbers with no sequence to them.
But the house that John and Caleb live in was somewhere in someone's front yard in Mount Macedon.
Who is that?
I decided to drive to this very picturesque location to hopefully discover where it is and convince the person living there to let me shoot my video in their front yard. Okay, there's a shot in the movie where you can see these two trees. And the house was directly behind those two trees. So it was there. Big house, built for the film. Here on Mount Macedon Road. I don't know how the filmmakers came by this property, but all I can tell you, where the house was. John's on the phone and Caleb comes, I hope that's his name, I keep forgetting. John's son comes out and talks to a stranger, a guy in a car, and he gives him a black rock. And I think that car would have been on the road here or here. So the road that runs between the house that's on that side and the area where the house in Knowing was is here. And in one scene you see Nicolas Cage coming out of here, and you can see this tree in the background. It's a bit bigger. That's the same tree. That's the same road, Mount Macedon Road. Yeah, and someone's here. Yeah, I'm making a video. On the Nicolas Cage movie, Knowing. See, they built a house for the film and I recognise the trees in the movie. That big property there, that empty space.
Oh, that one over there?
Because there's a scene when Nicolas Cage comes out and he looks this way and those two trees are definitely...
Oh, the gums are there?
Yeah, they're in the... I've got the photo.
Oh, shit. That's it.
That's those.
That's them. Yeah.
Yeah, he's standing looking up the road.
And that's, well, we'll describe it as a couple of trees fall down here. But yeah,
there's something
that
there.
is it.
Yeah. Oh, I do this for a living.
Oh, I'm Sam anyway, mate.
Sam, oh, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, mate. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, I'll go down and see.
Go in there. Just go in there.
Okay.
So, look, you know, I'm speaking to Sam's Mark here. So listen, I'm doing a little documentary.
Yeah.
Film.
Oh, thanks for your help.
It's cool.
Thanks. Okay, I just met the man that owns the house on this property. I was just talking to him and yeah, he did confirm that the house was a prop house and it was in this vacant piece of land. And most of the trees that you see in the film were knocked down in a storm with high winds. But this one here looks like it didn't last well. So where I am now is where the house was. Yeah, you can see how a big house could be built here. Obviously started to plant new trees. But those two trees at the front that I showed you before are still there. Wow. Beautiful. So Nicolas Cage is in his car and he sees the latitude and longitude on his car. I don't know why he has that on his car. I don't think I have that feature. He realises it matches what Lucinda has written down. So he gets out of his car, walks towards a police officer and asks him, is everything all right? Where was that? After going up and down this freeway, this is the spot, I'm convinced this is the spot where the plane crashes. I could tell the power lines kind of go off in that direction and they're running along the freeway here, but plane crashes through those power lines, and here's the field where Nicolas Cage runs towards to see if there are any survivors of the plane crash. This has got to be the spot, it can't be anywhere else. I've been up and down.
John discovers that Lucinda passed away some time ago, but has a daughter whom he discovers and then follows her to a museum.
John locates Lucinda's daughter Diana and he makes contact with her in a museum in Boston, but not really Boston, here in Melbourne, in Carlton. The Melbourne Museum, there were some scenes shot in here. We're going to go in there and have a look, see if we can find the places where they shot the scenes, but I don't think it's going to be very hard. Not at all. Anyway, all right, let's go in. This is where John approaches Diana, daughter of Lucinda. It's here at the Melbourne Museum. And in the film you can see this skeleton of a whale that apparently was found in Lorne in 1992. So John's trying to get information from Diana about Lucinda. Did she have abilities? And he gets his son Caleb to, I don't know if he does that, but the son goes and talks to the daughter of Diana, Abby, and they become friends, and that's kind of how John kind of worms his way into Diana's day. But it was here, Melbourne Museum.
I need to talk to you about something, ask you something about your mother.
My mother?
Okay, I tried to get in that top area there, but they wouldn't let me in. Some security guard came and I asked him for just 1 minute to go out there and get the shot, like in the movie, but he just flat out said no, I have to go through banquets, or who the hell knows what that means. Anyway, the scene was shot up there of John and Caleb having lunch with Diana and her daughter Abby. There's a shot of the city, which is here. You can see that building there. You can see that little one. But there are CGI buildings that have been put in that are just not really there. It's a big tower-like building with looks like a clock on it. That doesn't exist. That was put in later, post-production. I don't know. I don't know what a person from Boston thinks looking at this. Do they think to themselves, that's not Boston? The same way I think to myself, that's Melbourne.
She says 178 people will die tomorrow in New York City. And in 3 days' time, October 19th, 33 more.
Stay away from me and my daughter.
Stay right there. Diana, I think this has something to do with my son. I don't know how or why, but I think he's in danger, so I'm asking you, please, please help us.
John sees a news broadcast suggesting that according to intelligence agencies, an attack on New York City may be imminent. John goes back to Lucinda's numbers. He puts in her latitude and longitude numbers, which are the corner of Lafayette and Worth Street, New York City. John then amazingly travels to that destination, which is in fact the intersection of Collins Street and Market Street.
Why hasn't this intersection been sealed off?
Excuse me?
I said, why hasn't this intersection been sealed off? Didn't you get the
Sir,
tip off about the attack?
Please calm down. If you'll accompany me.
So a trans stop has been put in front of the 7-Eleven, so it's really hard to get good shots because it's a tram stop. It's just, So just showing you the 7-Eleven that Nicolas Cage looks at. It's just here, but there's been an upgrade to the tram stop here, so it's kind of hard to get a good shot because there's a lot of trams going this way and that way. But that is the 7-Eleven in the movie. Another tram. People running. This is not very safe, is it? Okay, there's a shot of John standing next to a pole which has the sign of the Lafayette Street, and it has a blue sticker on it, just like this, but it's actually over there, not here. Market Street is here, so the pole is across Market Street. So I'm guessing that it was a prop pole, but why would you have a prop pole with the blue sticker? Okay, this is the pole that I showed before. That's in the right spot where the pole in the film is, but it doesn't have a groove in it. It has a blue sticker, but it's facing that way. And if I go around here, it's got this thing attached to it, some pipes. There is a blue sticker there, but it doesn't quite match for me. So I don't think this is the pole in the film. Must have been a prop pole put about here. So, still confused. Anyway, where I'm standing is where the pole was in the film. Unless that groove up there, it's not really the same. That was an open space. Now a building is there, of course. Melbourne doesn't have enough buildings, clearly. The train station that John goes into is actually Flagstaff train station. So John goes down one set of escalators and then goes down another set of escalators and turns left into a train station. Well, when you walk into Flagstaff, there's escalators on your left and your right, so it's a 50-50 chance of which escalators he's on, so I don't know, they both look the same. But all the train stations look like this.
Good morning, customers.
The train station is a set because all the train stations look like this, and it's definitely not the train station in the movie, so it was probably Docklands or something like that. And then John is chasing this guy who turns out to only have Blu-rays on him or something like that, and the police are chasing John, and then you have this impending disaster in the train station. The alien people start communicating with Caleb. He starts writing numbers. John takes the paper off him just like the teacher did to Lucinda, and he keeps writing on the table, and I think that gives John an idea in regards to Lucinda. Anyway, let's press on. Probably at the 20-minute mark by now.
With one more disaster to go, John concludes that it will be the end of the world due to radiation superflares shooting out of the sun. The date is October 19th, but the geographical coordinates are missing.
But Lucinda did write some numbers on the inside of the broom closet that she was hiding in with her nails. And John realizes this, goes back to the school, gets the door, brings it back to his house, and uses a blowtorch to get the paint off to see the numbers. I got a bit confused here in this scene as to what those numbers were. I guess I'm getting old, I don't know, but I got a bit lost. Diana's scared, she wants to go to the caves. She takes both kids with her, and then on the way stops off at this petrol station, or gas station, as they call them in America. And this is the petrol station in Mount Macedon. It's a quick stop, and they filmed it inside this petrol station.
NOAA has concluded
Turn that up!
the state of solar flares may last longer and cause more damage to our infrastructure than we originally thought. Recommending that people...
Okay, let's get back to the car now.
Knowing heads towards an apocalyptic end not only for the characters of this film, but the entire population of the world, except 2 people. Melbourne has been the backdrop for the end of the world before. Stanley Kramer's On the Beach, which was actually set in Melbourne, was made in 1959. In that film, the population was aware of the end of the world. Knowing poses the question, would we want to know in advance when the world will end?
Well, those are the locations of Knowing. We got there, well done. And I just thought I'd do my final bit of the video here on this historic empty piece of land that once housed a house with Nicolas Cage. I haven't scripted this part. I just thought at the last minute just to do my final bit here. So this is me off script. Yeah. I'm getting nothing. I'm getting nothing. Anyway, I'm really glad I came here. How do I usually end these things? I usually do something stupid. Or just walk off. Yeah, I'll do a walk off. Hope you enjoyed the video. I'm going to walk off now. Goodbye. Enjoy your next video that you watch. Maybe make it one of mine. I got about 50 odd. The house was here, here.